critics pouncing on Democrats for a week of muddled messaging. That included several moments that went viral for all the wrong reasons. Mike Emanuel's got a look at that live in D.C. What happened, Mike? Hello.
Bill, good morning. There are a number of examples of why critics suggest it's been a rough week for Democrats. For one, House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries explaining why his members didn't support blocking transgender athletes.
What Democrats opposed was unleashing sexual predators on girls throughout the United States of America.
Then there was President Trump's joint address where Democrats were determined they would not cheer anything. That included a young man whose late father, a veteran and police officer, had inspired him to serve. President Trump announced he would achieve his dream attending West Point, a touching moment. They also didn't cheer the 13-year-old boy with brain cancer who has always wanted to be a police officer, and the president announced he would be an honorary Secret Service agent.
I don't know why we can't fully celebrate. I mean, I have a 13-year-old myself, and I mean, thank God she's never had cancer, but I think that's something we could all celebrate that. And I think it was a touching moment. And like I said, that's part of the best of the American experience.
Fetterman went further, blasting his party on X this morning with #TheResistance, snub a 13-year-old cancer survivor, join addressed protest paddle bonanza, bizarre pick your fighter videos, hold our beer, government shutdown. Fetterman writes, never, never, never vote for a shutdown ever, with a Politico article headline suggesting Senate's Democrats' impending choice, shutdown or surrender. And then there's California Governor Gavin Newsom, who split with his party on trans athletes in women's sports. Bill?
Thank you, Mike. Mike Emanuel watching that in Washington, D.C. Thank you. We got an alert from the White House a moment ago. At 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the president will be in the Oval Office. There will be comments as to what they pertain to. We do not know, but we'll hear it live for you. You might have seen something there about the executive orders at 2:30. We still expect that to happen. Also, comments at 3 o'clock. So a lot buzzing on a Friday, Dana.
Indeed.
In Washington.
I mean, the party is in disarray. You see that. They don't have an identified leader. They don't have a vision. They don't have a platform they can run on. And so the only word I can describe it is they're flailing right now. So that's why they resort to these antics. They want to fight Trump. They want to fight the America First agenda. They want to fight all of us. And so they debase themselves by showing up on the House floor and acting like children.
House Speaker Mike Johnson slamming Democrats for their behavior during President Trump's joint address. There were 10 Democrats who joined Republicans in voting to censure Congressman Al Green for heckling the president, and my next guest is one of them. Congressman Bera, he's a Democrat of California. Thank you so much for being with us today. Let's just hear it from you. Why did you vote for censure?
You know, what Al did is distracting. You know, we do have a strategy, which is, you know, President Trump won the election. He owns this economy. Stock market's dropping. He owns it. Keep the focus on what President Trump is doing. You know, we should be talking about laying off 70,000 VA workers and how that's going to hurt our veterans. Instead, we're talking about Al Green, and you know that wasn't what I want to see out of Congress.
Yeah,
I want to see decorum and civility.
I was thinking the other day, the only thing Democrats had to do was not make themselves the story on Tuesday night, but instead we've been leading with it for 4 days because it was so remarkable. And Ro Khanna, fellow congressman from California of yours, he said this, that he was in the airport. He was chased down by a flight attendant named Jim Barrett. He said, politely chased me down at Chicago airport. And he said, sir, I am a Democrat, but the way the party behaved was embarrassing, made us look heartless. I don't care who is up there. You stand for the boy with cancer. Be more rational and get your act together. Did you stand for the boy with cancer?
You know, I made a conscious choice at the last minute just to watch it on television. So I saw my colleagues and what they were going to do and just didn't want to be a part of that. So from my perspective, yeah, we should celebrate a boy with cancer who's living out his dream, you know, getting sworn in the Secret Service. We should always celebrate someone being able to go to West Point. Again, I want America to be successful. If Donald Trump's tariffs bring prices down, raise jobs, get the stock market up, great. I'm not going to root against America. I just think his policies are going to hurt folks, and I'm happy to debate those policies.
Jamie Raskin is a Democrat from Maryland. He's pretty senior up in leadership. He said that the censure vote was outrageous to my mind. What they've done is they've completely watered down the meaning of censure, censuring people over heckling. Do you think that they went too far?
Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred a formal rebuke of Al Green as opposed to a censure vote. Censure vote should be pretty rare, but that's not what was on the floor. It was a censure vote. So, it sounds like they're going to try to vote to take Al Green off his committees. I will vote against that because I don't think we should be meddling in each other's parties.
If the social media team calls you and asks you to hold a tiny microphone, will you tell your press secretary that you don't want to do that?
I don't want to hold a tiny microphone, so.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. When you think about another fellow Californian of yours, a Democrat, Gavin Newsom, he's got a new podcast. He's basically kind of changing his positions incrementally. Do you think that's the way back for the Democratic Party?
No, I think the way back for the Democratic Party is to have a platform. For lack of a better way of describing it, we ought to have our own Project 2029. We ought to say, okay, the American public wants to make government more efficient. They want to address the debt and the deficit. Here's how we would go about doing it. And we ought to put that out there. And in many ways, there's some things that, we're seeing, we could make the government more efficient using technology and so forth. I'm not disagreeing on weeding out fraud and waste, but what's our plan? What's our strategy? That's actually what we should be doing.
Well, keep in touch with us because we'll see how this develops over time as the Democrats figure it out after that loss in November. Thank you.